welcome to Dawg's Country Kitchen. Here live today, I'm going to show you a very simple, easy recipe that anyone can do at home. As a father of 5 children, my children love this recipe. It's one of their favorites. It's called Dawg's Popcorn Chicken. Some of the basic ingredients to get this process started is a 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour. Now, in the flour, we're going to go ahead and put our seasonings in. As you can see here, I'm kind of documenting some of the things that are put in. You've got your paprika, poultry season, ground black pepper, your seasoned salt, my special ingredient, which is the Italian seasonings. Believe it or not, it has no Italian flair to the chicken whatsoever, along with Adobe. All of these ingredients are pre-mixed into your flour, and then what you're going to do is take your small whisk and stir that up to get it good in a good even mixture. As you can see here, I have already cut 4 pounds of chicken breast, boneless, skinless chicken breast, into small bite-sized cubes. In saying that, I have those soaking in buttermilk and 2 eggs. So what you're going to do is you're going to put in about 1.5 cups of buttermilk along with 2 eggs, whisk that up real good and smoothie. Allow your chicken to soak for about 15 minutes before we bread it. And while that's soaking, we're going to take a small break. Be right back. Hi, and welcome back to Dawg's Country Kitchen. Listen, let me tell you a little something. I know I showed you all of my ingredients earlier, so I know you're thinking to yourself, well, how much of this and how much of that? Here's the nice thing about it. It's a pinch of this and a pinch of that. It's based on your own personal taste, but let me say this to you. The Italian seasoning, you want to use just a couple of good pinches totally on that so that you can keep that flavor down, but it does add a little reserve to the popcorn chicken. Yes, sir. Now, we're going to start breading our chicken, so what I'm going to do is pull some out, roll it over into my mixture. And as we do this, I want to remind you this is boneless, skinless chicken breast. Because of the large family that we feed, we do about 4 pounds at each sit down. In saying that, I'm a Martha White flour. Love the all-purpose flour. So as you can see here, we're going to get it good and breaded. One of the things that I'm doing in the meantime is I've got my fryer. Instead of doing it on top of the stove, this time in my iron cast skillet, I'm going to actually use my fryer. I'll go ahead and preheat that oil to 375 degrees. That typically takes about 10 minutes. So as we mix this up and get this nice and breaded, what I like to do is I'll take another plate and I'll set this on that plate so that it makes it just a little easier to drop it into the fryer. And while I grab a plate, I'm going to take a small break. We'll be right back. And we're back at the old Dawg's Country Kitchen, and as we stated before, we're doing homemade popcorn fried chicken with several different ingredients. This, as I said earlier, is one of my kids' favorite. As you can see now, as we're breading it, I like to move it over to a separate plate so that as I start my frying process, I can keep my mixtures moving into the breading at the same time. In saying that, in some of our upcoming episodes, I'm going to show you how to do Dawg's Chunky Butt homemade macaroni and cheese. And I will tell you that that recipe started from a small barbecue restaurant down in Decatur, Georgia. Saw it on a cooking show, and then I've added some twists to that particular recipe. And that's probably the most sought out at all family reunions. Is everybody always says, hey Dawg, you're going to bring your homemade macaroni and cheese? So I'm going to share that special recipe with you here shortly. And while we get everything set up, we're going to take another small break. And welcome back to Dawg's Country Kitchen. We're fixing to drop our first few pieces here in the fryer here in just a second. And just to remind you, I basically fry all of my chicken in standard Wesson vegetable oil. I'm going to go ahead and get a few more pieces here breaded up real quick. We can get that process moving. I think as you guys see the final result once this chicken comes out and you're able to see the nice golden brown effect, moist and tender, better than the Kentucky Fried chicken recipe in my opinion. I've been told that by numerous people. And of course, I know you're asking, why am I sharing this with you? Well, one of my goals as a father of 5, large family to feed, is my wife and I want to put together a nice, reasonable family recipe book, which basically shows how a family of 4 or a family of 6 can eat a well-balanced, nice homemade meal at an affordable price. So we're fixing to move over here to the fryer. Grab the old spatula here. And just to remind you, with all deep fryers, there can be some spatter. So what I like to do first is make sure I've got my basket good and hot. That way none of the chicken actually settles on the bottom. And as we put this in, you will see here in just a second. Let me go ahead and just slide a good portion of it in. There we go. Now, one of the things that I'm going to do is I'll always like to make sure I've got my lid as I drop it down. And then I'm going to set my timer for 10 minutes. Now, I will be constantly checking on it about every 60, 75 seconds. And in the next 8 to 10 minutes, we'll be able to show you the final results. Stay tuned! Welcome back to Dawg's Country Kitchen, where you can see this is about 5 minutes to cook, 5 minutes of fry time at 375 degrees. Depending on the size of cubes that you typically cut, will kind of tell you anywhere from about 5 to 7 minutes. And I have one of my professional taste testers here with me, my son Luke.
It tastes good.
Tell him how great it is.
It tastes really good.
It's one of our favorite recipes, isn't it? All right, thanks so much for tuning in. As a matter of fact, we'll attach a email address if questions. Look forward to the upcoming 4 other episodes upcoming. Dawg's Chunky Butt Macaroni and Cheese. Cooking the homemade egg pie with Granny. That's a special episode. All you seniors out there want to make sure you take advantage of that one. And see you later.